Doggone it, David.
Mm-hmm.
If you're just tuning in, well, if you're here already at the beginning and you heard me, doggone it, David,
Mm-hmm.
that's because he made us a minute late. I've been sitting here waiting for him to push the go live button.
It wasn't my fault. The doggone it.
Oh, and see, okay, so I'm curious because we got a message. Yeah, we can totally pin that.
Yeah, you could always have done that.
Really?
Yeah, go ahead and pin it. Let's see what happens.
But like, why did they?
No, wait. I'm going to do a different one. I'm going to do a different one.
They sent me a message when I logged into YouTube today that was, it seemed very excited about a new feature whereby we could pin messages in live chat. But like, I'm not entirely sure. It made it to me seem like it was brand new. David saying we've always been able to do it.
Look at that.
Oh, and he pinned it. I didn't. And so anyway, there we go. We have a pinned message.
Can't wait to see how this is going to interact with polls. Okay, hold on.
The LangTime Studio. Yeah, I don't know if you can pin multiple messages or if. Okay, David's typing away. I thought he would go a little bit faster than this, so I didn't say anything, and then all of a sudden I realized that all you're doing is listening to him type. Oh, yeah, Jonathan, that's unfortunate. Increase your engagement. Nice. Well, on mine okay, so we get like double bar up here.
Double
bar. The pinned
bar.
message stays up there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
That's right. That's right, Carl. You know what they say, better late than early or on time.
For Jonathan, it disappeared when the poll popped up, the pinned message. And so, Jonathan, you'll have to let us know if it reappears after the poll is ended. I'm guessing, though, you may be on a device or something. On a computer screen, it appears from our end that it stays up.
Well, it appears...
Exactly, Magpie. Oh, did you see Magpie?
Yeah.
Trust the pros. The pros. I forgot about that. I love it.
It appears Mr. Larigian remains as popular as ever on his official network, LangTime Studio. So...
Thank you, Jonathan.
Hats off to you.
Jonathan, that's great. I suppose you could call it a device. So interesting. Okay, so polls may make it disappear for a while. It doesn't all show up for everybody.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so right now I have Lexergy pulled open on the screen. You may notice it's smaller type. I need to zoom in to make it closer up.
Let's see what happens when you zoom in. What happens when you zoom in?
Am I on the page? Gosh, did I just... Oh, I zoomed in over here. Did you see that?
Now I can read it.
I was on the wrong one.
All
right. Okay. We're zooming. We're zooming.
Look at that.
I think as wide as I can make it.
That's pretty good, but you know that you can collapse this, right? Hit the collapse button for us. Look at that output.
But like I'm happy with this.
Okay.
Okay. So now I've opened Hagel and I'm going to apply. Ooh, look at that.
Running. Look at that. Oh.
Okay, so some of you may be looking at this going, but we actually this week got an announcement by Graham, who is the genius behind Lexergy, that Graham has put in work on putting it onto essentially a different engine is running it.
Yeah.
And so there's a new link for Lexergy, and it's longer.
Well, this is a temporary link, I think. He's asking us for all of us to go ahead and test out this new Lexergy to see if there's any bugs, if we have any hangups, and I assume if there are none, he'll probably move it over
to the main one.
To the main one. So for the time being, why don't we go ahead and just copy that link and paste it over there? Let's see if it breaks things.
I'm actually curious. I'm gonna, because this one is LangTime.
Yeah,
I should just be able to do
just copy it up to .app.
app.
Yep.
Okay. And here we go.
And there you are.
And so, oh, nice, Jonathan. That's good to hear that you
go ahead and
ran a test.
Pin that message.
So it unpins the other one?
That's right. The other is unpinned and forgotten.
Okay. And so, yeah, this is the new test drive for Lexergy. On the surface, it's all going to look the same. As you can see, this looks the same as what we're used to using. Also, in terms of like the rules that you write and things like that, like that's all. So all the documentation, will be the same. Really what's changed is the behind the scenes stuff that will make it, as Graham said, easier actually for him to update and keep up with things that need to be fixed if anything happens with it. But also it's supposed to run faster and whatnot. And so it's all very exciting. So yeah, so that's why I actually have two Lexergys. Like this one.
Ooh.
Was zoomed in a whole lot.
It sure was, wasn't it?
I guess I can.
Remember when I said to keep zooming?
You know what? Here?
That's a little bit better, isn't it?
Just a second. It's about the same. The purple bar is the same. Okay. It's just seeing my old settings for the other Lexergy. So, okay. So there we have it. New Lexergy to check out. Oh, woohoo! Oh, Danielle, that is great to hear. And yes, now, David, I hear this week's poll is exciting, and I should. Don't look.
Oh, honestly, let them look. This poll was possibly the most one-sided poll in LangTime history. I believe that the final count was 5 billion to 1. And, hats off to the one of you that voted for B. But essentially, we were talking about what potential writing system that we were going to do for Hauruff. Now, we had mentioned previously that we were considering doing a logography, but we dumped this idea when we realized we had just a bunch of cascading deadlines that we wanted to ignore, but which we couldn't.
And by cascading deadlines, you mean September 23rd?
There's that, but also we just got a bunch of stuff to do, and you know what I'm saying. So anyway, we took that option off the table and came up with 3 others. Two of them were alphabets, just to implement it differently. One quite conservative, so that the spellings would be arcane. The other a bit more progressive. And then the final one was the double syllabary that I came up with. And
Can you show? I have no idea what this is about.
Oh, that's going to take a lot of explanation. But essentially the idea behind this double syllabary is that, okay, there's going to be one glyph for consonants, right? Except that these consonants can be modified in one of 2 ways. One way, they can be modified for the vowel that precedes them. So that's the back half of this thing. The other way they can be modified is to indicate that they have been, mutated in some fashion. And then we're going to have some other little diacritic in there for a vowel that can occur in between the 2 when there's 2 vowel sequence. I have done it thus, if you can see that there. Yeah, I don't even. There's too much of a delay there, so I'm just gonna hope.
Wave your page around. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
can see
oh,
it.
now it's a little,
It's
well, it's
it's
kind of behind
it's
the
right
logo.
over the stupid logo. Sorry about that.
The stupid logo. It's a beautiful logo.
You know what we should do?
You just misplaced your notebook.
You know what we should do? We should swap the position of
The logo.
No, we can't move the position of the logo, unfortunately. Swap the position of the camera and the chat.
So at the chat, the logo is down at the chat, and it may momentarily cover up part of the chat, but as it moves up, it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Jonathan said it was not at all in the way, even a little. How is it in the way on our screen then? Because it's so small, and if you're watching on a bigger screen, like that logo stays the same. I don't know.
You know what? I don't know. But
well, cool, Jonathan. Good to know. Thank you.
Anyway, so I've never done or seen anything like this. That's why I called it a double syllabary. It's kind of a bizarre little thing. And so I thought, well, this could be fun. And so I threw it out there, and you all gobbled it up like, you know, like what's something you gobble?
Like chihuahuas feasting on
little hot dogs.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Vienna sausages,
little smokies. Anyway, but it's not really like Tibetan.
Okay, but, so Magpie and Jonathan are both commenting on how it must be because they're seeing the logo like way smaller on the screen than we are.
Okay.
So what I'm wondering is if the logo stays a certain size regardless of whether your window shrunk down or not, because in YouTube Studio, what we're seeing is a small window, and the logo is actually proportionately large to the point where half the time it's kind of taking up David's face right here. I'm just going to put my hand in front of him as he's typing.
Let's see. This is live. Wow, it actually is really small. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's teeny tiny.
But on ours, it's much larger. And so...
It's like the logo never changes size. I mean, it kind of does, because if you go out of full screen, it does.
It gets a little bit larger, and then on ours it shrunk down even more to like a third of what we're seeing here on just the YouTube page. And so yeah, the logo, I didn't realize it was variable either until just now when you guys are saying it was no big deal, don't worry about it. And according to our view from YouTube Studio, it looked like it was just smack dab in the middle of everything. And so it's good to know. It's good to know. We always thought that essentially at David, because where his chair is sitting, so that way our armrests don't just collide all the time.
Yeah.
His chair is slightly lower, and so we were always concerned that essentially the antennas from the logo were picking your nose. But they're not. Like they're not even close to your nose.
Yeah, that's really
so we're good.
Really cool. All right.
I'm watching us watching us. Oh my gosh. All right. So.
Okay. So all right. Yeah. So
the winner is, I think.
The double syllabary. Won by a mile.
Which I'm gonna say, like when David presented it to me, I thought it was a good melding of ideas to make it so we could do something that felt, when you look at the aesthetic of it, could feel like something that was a logography. God, that was stressed weird.
Logography.
Anyway, that felt like a logography, but wasn't. So aesthetically, it could present in similar ways, and the but it isn't part is so important to us, because to actually create a logography in terms of like being able to do it, to type it and all of that, it would just take so much time that doing it on screen would be difficult. And then, as David mentioned, we couldn't really do a lot of off-screen work on it because we do have other projects and deadlines.
Yeah.
Which means essentially the orthography would just really never get to a point where we could even write all the words we create. So because of that, I felt like this was a good melding of like, hey, it's going to aesthetically kind of feel like it may be logographic, but it's just not going to be, which means we can create the individual pieces in ways that will make it easier.
The
Oh, Logan,
we have
congratulations on the move. So sorry that you're still living out of boxes.
yeah.
That sucks.
Now back to our LangTime chicanery.
Go on. Hey, you know what? Just go on. Just go on. You're
I
just
want to
creating
learn.
an awkward pause.
I want to learn. Anyway, go here. I'm curious. Go to Wiktionary and pull up the word logography.
Oh, actually, I have a link up there. I should have just gone there.
We're doing it. Logography.
Oh, thank you, because that's how I used to always say it. And then David was like, no, it's logography. And now I like pronounce it all over the place because I never know where to hit it. But I always said logography.
Logography.
Look at that. I was actually technically right.
Logographies have logographs.
No, logograph and logographic. Let's do logograph.
Sometimes they don't have pronunciation.
They're
Have you
like,
ever
no
noticed
thanks.
this?
No thanks.
Wiktionary is the laziest resource I've ever seen. Logographic.
Well, no, they don't have a pronunciation, David. Let's logograph.
No, that's logograph.
Lol.
I don't. Who do they think is the pronunciator of this? And yeah, I did say that on purpose.
Logograph.
And so now you got your logograph
With your coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, well, there you go. Who knows? Cool. We did talk about all that stress change. Photography, logography. I think that's exactly why I did it. That makes so much sense, Danielle. Thank you. Nice. Carl, what you do is you just make it so you never have to say the word. Ever. You just, that system
There are four types of writing systems.
And you just kind of like skate around it.
Chinese uses the Roman alphabet.
Okay, so I'm going to go up here momentarily and add a page to our document. This is something.
Gosh, what on earth is going on? Wait, that's not. What on earth? Oh.
I'm creating a section for patron words because we have started documenting, and we have our first patron word request that was sent to me for the language.
Celebratory.
If you sent it to somebody else, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think I have that. And we're going to run this through Lexergy, even though I already think I know the form. We are going to run it through Lexergy to test it, just to see what happens. Ooh, I love the little running ... So Graham, when you're watching this, just know I am delighted by now getting a little running message. It does indeed stay the same. And so, which is beyond. Good. Okay, so we have our first patron word, and that will also need to go here so I don't forget to actually create it in the dictionary. But that also goes on that list. Okay. And I started doing that in the documents, if you recall, because then we have a page where we can make sure that we remember who has a patron word or not. Cool. Oh, Carl, that is the best thing to do. Different pronunciation each and every time, and engage the reaction of your speakers to see who's confused, who is outraged, David, and who is like, oh, is that how you say it? Huh. Yeah.
I just transcribed it in, I think it's like, I think Merriam Heritage Dictionary official transcription. And so there you go. If you need to know how to pronounce the word, now it's set and done. Now it's, official. So there you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you ready to do stuff?
Yeah.
Because like our poll was really good. It's really foundational for where we're going, but it doesn't so build into where we are right now.
Obviously, the next poll that we're eventually going to do is style, and I didn't really have like a ton of ideas, but I wanted to look kind of, fierce in a doggish way, and so I made it out of bones. I don't know. I was just playing around with that idea. So I don't know. Give it some thought. I will do the same.
That may be a future poll.
Yeah, I mean it will be a future poll. Just
depends on how it comes out.
Some styles. Okay, so language.
Where are we going?
I was thinking about actually using actual bones and arranging them. That was where the idea came from.
Hey. That's why you're just repeating language. You were talking about the folder you needed to open.
No, I was just trying to inspire our audience.
Language.
See? That was really good.
As a side note, don't make the freshman mistake when you're writing an essay for a class of opening a paper with a one-word sentence like language, period. And then going on from there. I won't say I did something similar as a freshman. And I won't say if I did that I was totally knocked off for that. Just don't do it. All right, moving on, David.
Merriam Heritage's Oxford defines language as a noun.
Categorizes language as a noun.
Thank you for your critique.
You're
Moving
welcome. On. I would like to argue, however, that language is a verb. It's what we do. We language.
Oh, that's a really good commercial right there.
All right. So, that then could be our LangTime commercial. It's what we do.
We language.
We language. Thank you, Viren. I need to write those down.
I made a note of it. To you.
Where?
I leave you a little note about the day's events every day. It's in the closet. You're supposed to
go in the closet and find like a whole like stack of like.
It's the first thing you're supposed to do every morning.
Well, at this point, it's going to be 500 notes or so, just stacked up in there. I'm sorry. Wow.
Yeah.
I've been missing out.
Now you know how I feel. Okay. Now back to the language factory. We're going to go to the verb section where we were. And find. So we have and we already came up with a way to passivize, or did I just mention it when I was writing up a section?
I thought.
Wait a minute. To reduce the valency of or passivize each transitive verb. Alchemist uses a completed particle as a matrix verb.
Yeah, and we've even got examples. The bird is chased.
And the bird was chased. Okay. All right. Right.
And then we have the
Right. So that
valency
that
increasing.
was a cold quav cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so let's go to the purple list down below.
Here we are.
So we've already mentioned that we didn't want to have anything that specifically marks the future, that we could just use future reference words.
Dynamid, nice. Bioniform.
There's continuative stative, like that's something that we could do. Hypothetical, permissive, habitual. We did have a recommendation from Pete Blakely. I mean, it was kind of a joke, but a dog running in circles or chasing its tail could be habitual.
I don't take that as a joke. I thought it was kind of brilliant.
Well, I think that it's more indicative of something that's fruitless.
That's true.
You know, and that doesn't speak of habituality to me. It just, you know, maybe it could be the pointlessative.
Well, if we had a diminutive for verbs, it's like the equivalent of the chasing the tail version of something bigger. Um, but also, like, that may not work. But I thought it was funny.
Now we've used chase a whole lot already, but chase is something that could be used for almost or to not quite do something. In other words, if you chase doing something, that means you don't necessarily do it.
Ragdoll's got a point. Could be habitual.
Yeah.
Something fruitless can be habitual.
Baba, yes, words like want or need are often grammaticalized to be a future. So, but yeah, something habitual that is neutral.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't say anything about it. And something doggish.
I mean, dogs, they pant. That's really regular for them because that's how they sweat. So that's something that just happens a lot. Um, they chew or lick things. They scratch quite a bit with their fur.
Eat.
Yeah, eat.
Play.
Gosh, I almost said chase again. When we just had a conversation about
No,
that, but
I
like in
know.
my head, I'm just going through like eat, play, chase.
Well, the thing is, chase is it's really useful as a concept because it's very doggish, and it entails and can entail so much because of the implication. That is, if you chase something, you know, it's, I mean, first it implies, you know, an object. It implies at least some kind of intentionality. It doesn't imply an endpoint, and so it's like there's so much rich grammaticalization potential there.
And did we use, no, the causative was to bark at. Because that's another one where it's like that could go hand in hand with chasing and just like something that you normally do. But we use that for the causative, which was good.
We could use a very basic unergative motion verb. So like you often use go for a future, but something like go or walk could be habitual as well for dogs. And he's, they get up and do a little walk every day, and so it's like, he walks, doing this on Thursdays, you know.
That's actually an interesting point, because out of like the pet world, like if we're thinking about animals in the pet world, like you have to take dogs on walks. Like you can't have a dog and not have like some sort of walk or exercise be a regular part of its day. Like I don't think, whereas cats like can, even though they may be hunters at heart, they also don't mind sleeping 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
I don't think dogs are like that.
Mm-hmm.
They may like to sleep, but they're also like running around your house if you don't take them out.
They're really fit, those dogs. They're quite sporty, which is not a way you usually describe a cat. Yeah.
And then I can't speak to the other animals because, like, never seen a rabbit being taken for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Or a mouse.
Yeah, you really don't.
And possums, I think, would also be content just chilling. Like, they do things because they have to have food. I feel like dogs are like, let me run.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I think I only sent it to Janet. A series of videos of this Australian Shepherd doing the sheep herding duties, and like just absolutely running in zoomy circles to herd these sheep, and obviously loving every second of it.
Mm-hmm.
And like just racing everywhere and like running. And it's like, again, like that's my concept of dogs, is that they're happiest when they're able to run.
Yeah. That's why I've always wondered about, why would anybody have a dog in a place that was a really built up city? Like New York City just seems cruel.
Sorry, Jonathan. Did you know that dogs have 50 words for chase? Yeah, Bubba, and like to herd, if this came from the Border Collie dialect, that would be an option.
Well, I'm kind of thinking actually we might employ 2 words for walk here, because as we said, we have cause for having synonyms for very similar activities. And I think this might be a good one. So we'll use one word for walk for this habitual and come up with another word for walk that comes from a different set of dogs. If we were being smart about this, we'd say which dog the words came from, which dog group the words came from, but ship me a sail on that when we go through later. I don't know.
So I was trying to
miss your bacon wrapped chicken.
I was trying to understand a comment, so I zoned out on what you were saying to try to read the history. But I did pick up on the fact that you were saying that we can grammaticalize elements from different dialects if that is what we want to do, but we do need to make those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the gist of it, or did I miss something bigger?
No, that's good. So let's
sorry, but glad you enjoy the bacon wrapped chicken.
Yeah, let's think about words for want or walk. Let's come up with at least 2 of them. And they should be regular old words.
Going to this page, because it's got our protoforms. Actually, I can delete that now, right?
Yes.
Because that was just a test.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is a note for that, so we still need that for now. Okay.
Can we do that?
What?
Can we start a word with a consonant cluster? I don't think we can we?
You just scared me with, can we do that, after I was
like,
what'd I do?
I don't think we can do that like
right
ragtime.
Here.
What?
Stops or fricatives followed by R.
What? How long have we been able to do that?
Say for as long as the language is around,
shouldn't that be double B?
Which is how we have a word like Bram in the language.
Oh my God. Did I say ragtime? Oh my gosh. It was because I was about to say lag doll. Oh,
David's having a moment. If everyone could take a breath on David's behalf.
You're absolutely right. That's how we have the word Brahm. Okay, so yikes. All right, we're gonna have
And
to.
we have the O, and we could have
So we're gonna
a T at
accept.
the end.
Can you? Oh my gosh, Lexergy will tell us if it's right or not. Put that in. Okay, now replace the R with an L.
Oh no, because we said it had to be an R.
We did?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It
it's
said
only
like
L.
R is the only thing that can occur there.
Okay. Okay.
And it has to be a stop or a fricative in front of it.
Okay.
So those are the only consonant clusters.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime doll.
Da-dun, da-dun, dun, dun. Oh wait, I need a.
Anyway, that would be very.
There we go.
Wait, why?
I was just seeing if it did anything, and it doesn't.
Oh.
Because we have two different T's. I was just testing them out, testing some waters.
Anyway, that would be a little screwy. Anybody got any other recommendations? Remember, we need at least 2 of these. That one, it doesn't end with the fringe like.
But we could make the whole thing.
Trot, trot, versus trot.
But yes, that is screwy. But it is permissible.
Yeah, but this is
of...
what I want to do. I want to get 4. I want to get 4 of them up. I want to do a poll, and then the top 2 will be the winners.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
There's my suggestion.
Okay.
Do you have a suggestion?
We don't have a Z.
We do not, no. And in fact, we had to do a lot of work just to get the S in the middle of what will be Jesse eventually.
Yeah. Oh, I want gloom.
Gloom?
Yeah.
An actual G.
GW.
The like this?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I was hearing that.
Gloom.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that makes me so happy.
All right.
Okay.
Now we need a 4th one. Did I get enough sleep?
No, you did not.
How do you know?
Because I saw you when you woke up.
Too similar. Let's do something else. What are you doing, Bob?
Just a second. I was just making some choices here. Oops.
Ooh. Wow.
Because then we could, like, as the grammaticalized form, it could be a shorter version of it.
And it's also a little screwy going for a wachel.
How is it screwy?
Going for a wacko.
Okay, poll time. Is it screwy for walk and wacho to be, especially when the protoform was wak? Oh, I guess never mind. That sounds more screwy now that I say it.
Yep.
Dang it. Okay. I did not hear it at first.
There we go. Here's your poll.
Is it screwy? And we're talking about my recent form, wacho. And form, I mean suggestion. We don't have to use it. I was just throwing something out.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna end that one early. All right, so we're gonna start the poll.
You only gave yes and duh. David, David, no. Actually, I'm curious. Oh, wait, we don't have that. How did we get?
Anything can be a coda tincture.
Sounds like you should.
Okay.
And then I did vague as another one.
What do you like for trot? Like which one?
What?
For trot, like there's like the original suggestion was TROT, but you put two suggestions that were pharyngealized. Which one do you like best?
Oh, are we going to use it? I thought it was too screwy. I thought we were coming up with more. I've been over here trying to.
It's one of the four. Which one do you like?
Well,
so trot, trot, trot.
That one.
Okay. All right. Next, who becomes oh?
I like that one.
And we like our groom, right?
Yes. Those two are my favorite. I'm just going to put that out there into the poll verse. And womb are my favorite.
And then what about last year? Which one do you want?
I was trying to figure out how did we make the velars turn palatal? I was trying to make that happen.
You'll have to put IA in there, but I don't think that's gonna. Well, try it and see if it works.
Right. Like that.
Let's see. Yep.
Ooh.
Vaj.
Just a second. Just a second. Ooh.
Raj. Or Raj.
Without, I feel like a lot of what you do here is pharyngealized without it needing to be.
I think you're right.
Raj.
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 My apologies. Raj. Vaj.
I like the R better.
All right.
Okay.
All right. And I'll go ahead and put the correct IPA in there.
Now, we have now seen like 8 comments about grilled cheese, and I am like now ready for a grilled cheese dipped in tomato soup.
There's a place that does grilled cheeses on Main Street in Huntington Beach. It's a shop dedicated to grilled cheeses. That's all they do.
David's going to leave me on that note. I know tincture, it's like difficult to not accidentally, whoops, screw things up. And then after you do it once, you think everything is a screw after that. Grilled cheese. Nice. Oh, anime fan wants pronunciations, and David, you know I'm the wrong person to do that.
Do it.
Oh my gosh.
Just do the moderns.
Yeah, that's the problem. In what order did you put them in?
First to last.
Trot. Ru. Groom. Raj. My best there, anime fan. Sorry. The request came in after David left. The reason this grilled cheese is so good is because it has onion in it.
What?
Ooh!
That's not grilled cheese.
Ooh wee. Now, what kind of onion? Are we talking yellow onion, sweet onion, red onion, like a Vidalia? What are we talking about here?
It's not a freaking grilled cheese.
Did you leave me just to go get a snack? Is that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You just couldn't handle the jealousy of me having my delicious, delicious kombucha right here. You went. I bet you're having a chocolate covered espresso bean right now. 2 of them, and he did not bring me one.
I did, but then I ate it.
Now that's true love.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Oh well, Jonathan. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said it. He would have seen it when he came back.
Oh, Jonathan.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll bring you some chocolate covered espresso beans to KopiCon, and I will be sure to serve them with onion the way I'm sure you prefer.
That would require you to actually get an onion and do something with it.
Oh, I'll get it.
Won't.
You know that it was part of my job when I worked at Togo Sandwiches to slice, plastic buckets filled with onions.
And David's going to talk about this work experience as if it was a large part of his life, when in reality it was like, how long?
3 months.
3 months of his life that he worked at this place. And I think when he left, I'm not so sure they were sad, Mr. Onion Putter-Honor.
My manager was discontented. She said that they were prepared to offer me a 5-cent raise.
David has a funny story that he did not realize how many onions to put on a sandwich, because in his mind,
that's true.
if you requested onions, that must mean you really, really like them and want tons of them. So anytime someone would request onions on their sandwich, David would like heap the onions to the point where like people would have to go back to the counter and be like, can you take some of these off?
Well, they only did it once. That was when I learned. I was like, because like first I was horrified. I was like, oh my God, I put onions on your sandwich and you didn't ask for it. Let me make you a new one, because I mean, the stink of them already would have ruined the sandwich. But then they were like, oh no, just like, can you remove some of them? And I'm like, I was like, it was like the meme with the woman and the equations in the background. That was me. I was like, I don't understand the thing that's happening right now. Like, if you don't want onions, I will make you a new one. What are you talking about? And they're like, oh, I just don't want that many. And that was the very first time I ever considered that such a thing could be real.
Oh man. Okay. And our word is going to be.
By the way, Tincture's message is now pinned.
Indeed. And I hope you're keeping the grade book current, because I am not. And if final grades are up to me, it's going to be a dartboard kind of situation, and I'm not very good at darts, so everyone beware.
I am keeping the LangTime grade book, up to date, and I'm also keeping your grade book up to date. And believe me, the part where you're supposed to be maintaining the grade book, yeah, that's going to affect your final grade.
I don't care. All right, so we have Raj as our word.
Sorry, can you read aloud what George just wrote? Because I can just picture it in my head.
Oh, this is from George. When my wife puts onions on a sandwich, she doesn't cut them into rings. She breaks off a big plank of onion and slaps it on there. Just like that.
I can really just picture it in my head. Oh, man. Anyway, so, all right. Okay, you're adding them? Okay, so we're going to our winner. Our winner was Raj, which is so that's it's gonna used to have meant walk. Dy.
That is hard not to read that as 2 syllables. Interesting.
Rady, 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 rady. Don't walk that Romery Avenue.
Did you just say Rome?
Romery. Rady, 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 rady.
That's what's happening. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It took me. Oh my gosh. Okay, David,
we're gonna have to watch Flashdance again.
I am not ready for this level of connectitude.
We're
right
gonna have
now.
to watch Flashdance again.
Have we watched it together?
Yes, once.
I tried to forget. Oh, I remember now because I was like, "Oh, this movie's worse than I remembered it."
Oh yeah,
It's
if you just remember the parts with the women, it's like, hey, this movie's pretty good. Anytime you remember a part with a man, and it's like, oh boy,
yeah,
this movie is yikes. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm remembering right now. Okay, so we have this form which in the protoform meant to walk.
Yes.
And so what we're saying is that may lose that, and
Yes.
we may end up with another verb, say, pulled from either another dialect or something that means like trot or something equivalent.
Yeah, but we have the verb.
What is?
I said the second place one would be.
That's the second place one. Okay.
So we need to go up and get it before it goes too far away.
You should have. Oh, good.
Yeah. So it's
gloom. Okay.
So
I'm going to. That was just in the protoform. Okay.
And Alec throwing in his participation, is I'm just doing this so I don't get fined comment. Oh, all right. Well, later on, Jonathan.
This was going to be habitual marker?
Yes.
Okay, and then this one, did it mean something other than to walk in the
Nope.
protoform? Okay, so we just had, and that's going to be
just yeah, you can ignore the labialization for
because
that
it happens
assumed.
naturally. Yeah. Okay.
You don't like cucumber
cucumber.
either. Oh, that. Oh no.
I like a whole lot of things pickled. I don't know. One of my favorites is pickled okra. It's good stuff.
They call it pokra?
No, but they should. Okay. Oh, that's an interesting thing because I feel like for David, it's actually the texture that throws him off.
Yeah.
Not that he's a favor of anything vinegary, but like I think he can handle that flavor better than he can the texture. Ooh. Which is why when we went to Missouri and my dad had made it's like a quick pickle kind of salad. And it's got, fresh cucumbers that you put in the vinegar solution, but like you eat it within a few days of making it, which means it's not like when you bite into it, it's still crunchy. And David actually appreciated that more than any other pickle I have seen him appreciate.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he liked it. I'm going to say he appreciated it more.
No, that's something that I went back for seconds for. And it's like, that's not something I do unless I'm actually interested in that.
Oh, pickled jalapeno. Yeah, you know what? You're right, Jared. That I like that better than pickled okra because I actually make my own pickled jalapenos here at home. And David eats them every now and then. Really? I make the tacos, the quick pickled jalapenos.
Huh.
To put them on the tacos, and every time you're like, "Oh my gosh, did you actually make these?" And I'm like, "Yes, I did."
Well, that's because I was just so impressed.
Anyway. Okay.
All right. So now let's go ahead and. Okay, so it's not valency. We have verbs here. This is first we shall make transitive completive particle. Okay, yeah, I guess this is where it should be.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
it's not completive in this case.
Yeah.
Habitual.
I feel like next should probably be something like if we're going to have some sort of an imperfective or continuative, it should be there.
Yeah.
But we'll just go ahead and write it and put it in between. So next, next, let us proudly introduce our habitual particle, trad, right?
I thought it was supposed to be dy.
Yeah. Let's double check that.
Yeah, because why not, Jay?
Because there's no, it's to aid pronunciation. That is, they're more likely to get it right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this does not have pharyngeal
I mean,
construction.
GY also works, and it's more likely to get it right, but we made this decision back for Tapahla, and we're sticking with that. Huh.
Oh, it's Pahla. It made so many things.
Yeah, but like that was because GY is how it's spelled in Hungarian, and it actually works pretty well, like to get people in the right place, because you don't want to use the tongue tip, you want to use the tongue blade, and obviously that's used for G. You follow that up with a Y, and it kind of approximates it. Oh, thank you. You know. Yeah, right. It's not exactly right, but it gets you in the right space. So I always thought that was nice. The verb stands in place of the main verb and co-occurs with a verb phrase whose verb has been nominalized and is preposed by guessing that. We'll see if this works. We'll see if,
because the O is the locative.
Yeah, right? we'll see if this works. An example is provided below.
The dog is barking. Hof Bram.
Yeah, here we go.
Good old Bram, our word for dog. Yes, we have consonant clusters.
Hofbram, the dog is barking. And then, so now we have Rajbram o.
Oh.
And then it's going to be.
Oh.
It's going to be.
Where's our chart?
Sorry, we don't need the chart. Or I don't, but go ahead and go to the chart.
Well, I would like the chart.
Oh. There it is.
Just a G. Ogle.
The dog barks. Regularly. Okay.
So the dog walks in barking.
What do we think about that? Does that make sense to you, or do you want to try something else?
I like it.
All right. All right.
Because it's also, I feel like, another way of just saying, like, the dog walks while barking, like, during barking.
Yeah.
And, like, if it's something you do while you're walking, it's just like, what I do.
Right on. All right. Let's do some other examples very quickly with some more arguments to make sure that we know how these are going to work. Let's see, what do you call the verb that's like the main semantic part of the sentence?
Matrix verb?
Except it's not. I mean, that's a syntactic term. So raj is actually the matrix verb.
Oh, but you want to say it's the
semantic verb.
Wow.
You know what? Props on that, Ragdoll. I am really proud of that. That's going to be pinned.
That cucumbers are non-offensive?
Yes. I like that.
Interesting.
I'm just going to go with semantic verb for the time being. When the semantic verb has objects.
You could say the writing system for this language is a Brahmic script.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh. Is it lexical?
You know, that's interesting, Tabby, because my first response was no, but then I started thinking about it, and it's like, well, that's interesting because here Raj is very much a function kind of verb because it's not the main focus, and so lexical does feel kind of right. That's really interesting because it's sort of like treating Raj as an auxiliary, even though it is the matrix verb rather than an auxiliary.
Yeah.
But it's the most semantically salient verb.
I think. Wait a minute. Oh.
Do you want me to check the hua? I thought the H disappeared for some reason. It does disappear in O mutation. Yes, and om becomes pharyngalized om. Okay. More.
Okay, and let's think about this. I just wrote that. I don't know if it's correct. Okay. The dog walks in chasing
Of the bird.
Of the bird or just in chasing the bird?
Either way, it's needed, isn't it? Because if you're chasing the bird is wahwab.
Yeah, so it's either that or the preposition gets replaced with the genitive, and it's just a question of which makes more sense.
Okay, so here it's like the dog walks in chasing the bird. If we did of, we would actually have ahwab.
Yeah, so the dog walks in the bird's...
Ahwab? I forget which one it is.
Well, we can ignore what it's going to be for the moment. What makes more sense in English, like just thinking about the language? So the dog walks in chasing the bird, or the dog walks in the chasing of the bird.
The content verb versus the function verb.
Thank you.
That was not what you asked, but there's where my brain went.
Right on.
Okay. The dog walks in chasing the bird.
Or the dog walks in the chasing of the bird. But
I feel like we did one similar.
In the bird's chasing, we did.
And I kind of, I want to. Okay, so with catch, we left it as but we were treating that as a unit because it's still something chased and caught the bird. So we treated caught the bird as a unit rather than the catching of the verb.
You're right, and so that's a serial verb construction.
And so I think we should keep a wa there. Or no, wait, we are not treating this as a serial verb.
That's correct.
We're treating this as an object now.
Yeah, and you know what? Every time we've done that, because here it's an object too.
Abram, but that's the by the.
Yeah, but it's an object because basically it's got a preposition. So we could have a general rule that says anytime a verb is nominalized and is the object of a preposition, its arguments can only be attached with a genitive.
So the only reason that this is difficult is that in this genitive construction, and I want to keep scrolling down to see if we have others.
We do.
But in this genitive construction, the rum is doing the chasing.
Scroll down.
But then dog barks.
Barks the cat towards the chasing of the bird.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I guess it would be genitive to match.
All right. And that is aquav.
But shouldn't it be A?
I don't know.
Because I thought that's what we did with, like, yeah, A club. Like all of these are ending in A because the I disappears.
Okay, I think then, shoot, all those
Oh, here we
examples
go.
are wrong.
Here. A club.
All those examples are wrong. Oh, man.
What examples?
Well, we have a ton of examples that are agwav.
Oh, I thought we went through and fixed those.
No, all the examples we just looked at right now, they're all wrong.
Like here, okay. Because we made that decision later. That ah was not meant to be something else, was it?
No.
Because it never should have been ga.
No, it's not, because there are other examples that don't have bird.
Oh my god, we have a typo. Plural subject and singular verb.
Mm. Mm. All right, there we go. It's going to be A most of the time, I think. We should actually figure that out, what it's going to be most of the time. I, or A.
I also think it's going to be A most of the time. Because it's going to be I in front of all vowels.
Yeah.
A
in front of all consonants. The only time it shows up as is when it
palatalizes the following consonant.
Yeah.
And the palatalization does happen, throughout this entire series, which is a significant amount because then it's also down here.
Why doesn't it palatalize bird? Oh, it's because it's KW. It's because it's KW.
Yeah.
That's why it doesn't palatalize. This is a pretty cool language.
And this can go either way because it depends on if it started life as the velar or the uvular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this language is, but there's a reason we needed that chart. A very good reason. Okay. Where are we? We're coming back up here. But yeah, I think it's going to be A most of the time. So like, I don't know how you want to handle that. Those are the makes, the verb. We're back up here. Do we want to like replace all the mentions where it's like the genitive blank? Should we have it genitive A?
I think so. I think that should be its base form. Okay. I'm gonna find it. There's one. There's two.
Biblaridian commented.
What? What?
And Bib, that's really interesting. I would not put it in the top 5 worst fruits, even knowing that in the world of fruits, there's a reason I don't consider cucumbers fruit. And if you're forcing me to consider cucumber a fruit, then yeah, it's not a very good one when you hold it up against other fruits that I like. But I would still say there are a lot of fruits that are way worse than the cucumber. And even in its savory status, in my mind, um, it still ranks above other things, including the grapefruit. The grapefruit should be one of the worst.
Yeah, I think so too. I want to pin this from Silvertail. So it says, I'm running a bit late, but I was the one person that voted B on the poll, and I'd meant to hit C.
Well, Silvertail, you accomplished two things. One, you delighted us that there was one vote for the other option. We're like, yes, one person. Two, your option still won.
Yeah.
So you didn't have any sort of whoopsie-doo situation, but that is amazing.
Silvertail ain't standing for this slander.
Oh my
right
gosh.
On. Well, that is okay because as a show of, as a gesture of goodwill, Bibler Rating is going to be hosting a cucumber sandwich buffet the day after KopiCon for everybody. It'll just be cucumber sandwiches, and not the ones you're thinking of. It's actually going to be slices of cucumber in between two little cucumber slices.
Well, yeah, you slice off like the ends, and those are the outsides. You kind of create a little hoagie-like cucumber sandwich, and then you put sliced cucumber in between them, like the slices of the circular variety.
Somehow CJ's comment is even worse.
And then there will also be cucumber water to drink.
That's right.
Did you finish replacing them all?
Yes, I did. And so we are ready. We
celebrate
something. Here we go.
Yay!
Celebrate with KopiCo. What?
I'm trying to decide how many there are left in your hand. Like you then moved it so I couldn't see it. I was like, do I need to reorder these soon? But I feel like those will probably last us a while, won't they?
You know what? This is better. There we go. Yeah, a little bit. We might need to order more. I think this should take us to the end of the season. Unless we get a little snackish and decide to have some on not a Thursday.
Well, but here's the thing, like, if they're going to last to the end of the season, I want to wait to order, because then when I order, we're going to ship them directly out that way, aren't we? We're going to try anyway to ship our KopiCo for KopiCon, so we don't have to carry it.
Got back to me on that.
No cheers?
Cheers. As I remembered.
Wink.
So are humans, Tincture. So are humans.
And also so is watermelon.
And so is the name. And so is this planet. There can be a lot of interesting things that are mostly water.
Including David's favorite part of the planet, the ocean.
KopiCo, 90% water, 10% heaven.
Tincture said, I didn't say it was a bad thing.
All right.
Oh, I should have. Here. You want to throw that away for me? Thanks.
You want me to throw away the coaster too?
No, I was just wiping it off so that way it didn't.
On your pants?
It's water. It's going to dry. But
it's
now
going to dry there too.
But now I can put this up there and not worry about the bottom of that getting all wet. Okay. Well, in Ragdoll, I don't know how it is in Australia, but in America, most mayonnaise is not vegan, and so that also gives you fewer options. And so that can be problematic, because it was very difficult for me to get around and try to find vegan mayonnaise whenever I was doing recipes that required something like it.
I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work.
Huh? Magpie. Cucumbers are mostly water. Jesus could walk on water. I can walk on cucumbers. Thus, I am mostly Jesus. I see what you're saying, Ragdoll. Because when you were a kid, those sandwiches had mayonnaise. Got it.
This is one of those examples where I think it'd be very confusing for an English language learner, because we can frequently and casually, it's considered casual, drop subjects in English. Just say things like, I went to the store the other day, and there's nothing in there that tells you what the subject of the sentence is, but you just know that it's, I that was dropped. So Ragdoll's sentence can be read in two ways. I think the intent was the casual dropping of the subject way, with perhaps a semicolon that wasn't there. Vegan mayo is easily available now on the shelf. Never buy it. In other words, I never buy it. But another could be a warning with a colon. Vegan mayo is easily available now on the shelf. Never buy it.
There you have it.
All right, can be combined with the, what do we call that? Perfect, completed, what do we call it? Completed. Cool, to form a past habitual, also known as the Jeff Foxworthy used to could.
Okay.
Just for you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. The episode one of the episodes that Aaron and I had recently watched of Leverage had Bill Engvall in it. It makes me think of Jeff Foxworthy because they were in the same sort of comedian tour circuit. But anyway, yeah. Then also How I Met Your Mother, that episode the other night where Robin was like, "That's Jeff Foxworthy," and she was totally wrong.
Oh, that's right. What was she talking about? I forget. It was her American Test, but like,
it was the actor who played all the Ernest in
Oh,
Ernest
right.
Oh my gosh, what's his name? Vern's.
Vern. Well, Vern is Jim Varney.
Jim Varney. There we go.
Because Vern is the cameraman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh,
exactly,
right.
George. Used to could. I used to could walk to school every day.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't.
Okay.
Anymore, my feet hurt too much. I'm an Anymore speaker. Get over it.
That one, the first time I heard it was when I was an undergraduate at Berkeley in my class for historical linguistics, and my co-undergraduate, her name was Ursula, who was from Illinois, the rural part of it, and she was the one that had examples how she, like, anymore I go to the mall and I just sat there trying to figure out what had been said in this language that I clearly did not speak.
I didn't. Okay, so like, I didn't realize it was a thing. And it was one of those things that I think maybe I had read examples in papers, but I thought they were just examples to be like, look, we do this in English. I didn't realize they were trying to give examples of, look, some people do this in English. So anyway, like, it hit my brain very differently whenever I would see the examples in papers or whatever. It wasn't until I was actually teaching in Texas, of all places, where I said something like, like in English we can say, and I gave an example, and I don't even remember what the rest of the sentence was, but it began with anymore, and I went on. My class was so confused. They were like, what does that even mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
meaning broke down for them in a way that it was, because sometimes people kind of
Me too. Like that's what
some
happened. I know the feeling.
but like sometimes people sort of play dumb when they hear a dialectalism and they're like, oh, what do you mean by that? But like when communication literally breaks down, you can see that difference, and this was a place where it broke down, and it kind of broke my brain because I was like, how is this not clear? Like, how can you not just like understand what I'm saying? Because in my mind it just is, it makes so much sense. But it also reminds me of like the first time, like the first time I ever heard as a kid the fixin' to thing, like I'm fixin' to leave, and I'm like I momentarily was like, I don't get what's being said, and after kind of sitting for a minute, it kind of sunk in, like, okay, I'm getting ready to leave, but like it momentarily hit me in a way that I went, what? But
Um,
the anymore really breaks down people, like to the point where I had to explain it several times, and then I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't say that anymore.
hey, so George was the person who gave that talk named Cindy Kilpatrick, by any chance, possibly out of the University of Texas at El Paso. The dog chase.
And George, I've actually read several papers about that, and yeah, it's there are some interesting things. Um, so tincture, like a lot of times when people say anymore in context, like it essentially means like these days or nowadays is another way of doing it. But in a sentence like anymore, I go to the mall, like that would suggest to me that like now I go to the mall, and probably like in the conversation, there's something else going to pop up about how like I maybe used to do something else, but anymore I go to the mall for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
And so it's like, it's usually like a way of just kind of bringing, like, now I do this, but like there's a sort of implied contrast. And
Wow.
so, like, a lot of times you'll see it with negative statements, like, anymore it's too expensive to go to the movies, where it's like, I used to be able to go to the movies, but now it's too much money.
By the way, can we scroll up? I wanted to see, Ragdoll had a really interesting thing that she purchased that sounded like it might be good. Um, the second comment, I bought a lime coconut with basil and kaffir chili. I would love to know what that is specifically because a lot of those ingredients sound very interesting to me.
You do not strike me as a lime coconut person, but okay.
Really? Me?
Yeah. Uh,
That was my experience, Ragdoll. Hmm.
nice Silvertail.
Um, okay. Right. I just want to make sure that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because it's walk, dog. And
Because
that's the
it's
coal, but it's coming after the M, which voices it. And that's our completive, which is caught, I believe, catches. So the dog walks. The dog. Okay, because it's actually working here with to walk and not with the sort of the content verb.
well, now that's got me wondering. I know that the three verbs are in the correct order. I know that. The question is if they work and if there any of the other marking needs to change.
Because because in this one it creates a serial verb construction. The dog chases, catches the verb. Catches the bird, rather, not the verb. Dog walks, catches the chasing of the bird.
Huh.
Like, I feel like that's...
I think then that's got to be, this has to be deleted.
Because it's now working with go, which is to chase, and that does not take om, right? It takes wa.
Yeah, now here it's actually functioning as a verb. So it's not the dog chased, catch, dog chase, catch, verb. Dog walk, catch, and then it's a verb. So I think this has to be wa. And then what happens to an H intervocalically?
I don't think anything happens.
Ja. Wait, no.
It
It becomes dotted. Yeah. So this verb here, since it's a serial verb construction, this one's argument structure replaces this one, kind of like this one's argument structure replaces this one, because this is ordinarily a transitive verb.
You're doing a lot of this ones. Where are you now?
Oh, sorry. I meant for my highlights to show up on the screen.
I was looking at the example below with the causative.
Here we go, right here. So, in this sentence, the dog chased the bird, as opposed to the dog is chasing the bird. You'll see that this verb is transitive. So it takes a subject and it takes an object phrase. Here, in the dog chased the bird, you'll notice that this thing no longer occurs with its object phrase. It's essentially been demoted to an intransitive verb. This verb takes over and has its own object phrase. It just shares the subject. And so this thing loses its object phrase, and the object now gets attached to this one, which doesn't have a subject. So the same thing should happen here. This thing is losing its object phrase, the thing that's headed by om. And this thing, it takes the new object, and its object has to take wa. But this is still nominalized because this is wa, so catches the chasing of the bird. So that part doesn't change. This part does, and as a consequence, the initial consonant does. And this thing is basically treated like an intransitive verb. Boom. Man, I feel like I earned a second Coca-Cola for that.
I feel like at the end of the day we did what I said I think we needed to do. Because I said we should have wa here, and you were like, no, not necessarily. And then
I don't recall you saying that. Sorry.
So I deserve. Okay.
Marion's Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Marion's Kitchen, Thai, basil, lime, and coconut slaw and salad dressing. All right.
And I like imagining Silvertails. Mom with an Indian accent saying "fixin' to." Love it. Oh, David's looking up the dressing.
Oh, I found it. Thai basil lime and coconut salad dressing. See, that's a promising start right there. And you can buy it, but also the ingredients are right here. And she tells you how to make it.
Is making it put everything together? Yep. I love it when a recipe is one step.
Yeah.
Put it in a blender.
All right, well, I'm going to send this to Jesse because if it's not just a thing that you can buy but can make, I bet Jesse can make a whiz-bang variant of it.
All right.
Okay, so good. That is settled.
So going back here, I'm taking habitual off the list.
Yeah.
Yay.
Nice.
Ooh, is it nap time?
It's about. Man, we'll have to think up a new poll. We can always do the style poll as a backup, but
Fair.
But maybe something will come to us if we start to look at some of these others.
I think another potential, sort of a softball poll, would be whether or not we do have some sort of continuative in the language to specifically mark it, or
That's
if it's
true.
more just kind of implied or like a non-marked situation. And then actually kind of brainstorm ideas. So like maybe have like 3 options where it's like we don't have it, we have it and we use this verb, or we have it and we do this thing with it. Like, you know, a couple options for like if we do have it. And one of the options could be reusing one of the other constructions where it just takes on sort of a double meaning. And another option could be, you know, a whole new verb.
I mean, if you want to just write those down, maybe you can do the poll this week.
Well, you can do the fancy stuff. I'll just brainstorm. Dun dun. Option 1. No continuative. Do you want to say /stative marking?
Not for right now.
Okay, and so thus.
This is also your weekly reminder that we have never been invited to Australia to give a talk. We would love to go to Australia. We're right next door. We're in California. Oh, you're putting a lot more work into this than I thought you were going to be. This is going to take a long time, isn't it?
Well, no, I just wanted an example, and this was right above, so I pulled it. Like, it's just like the cat is sleeping. The cat keeps sleeping. It's like it's happening. It's continuing. It's going on right now. Option 2. Mark continuative specially with a verb of our choosing. And that's going to be verb of our choosing. Yeah. The verb will really dictate the syntax of what happens here. Okay. But some sort of nominalization. Maybe I'm just going to throw wa in there just to be like wa. Maybe with a downward. Wa. Wamea. Okay. Option. Woo! 3. Mark continuative using a strategy we've already used for another construction, thus giving it 2 jobs. And I feel like the one that I was thinking, what did we use it for? I was thinking chase for continuative, like in the act of, which we have used for the object marker, for wa, but have we used it as a verbal marker? I don't know that we have. So I'm just going to type it here. Well, that didn't work, but whatever. Is it hua with, okay, hua is how I should be saying it in my head. Hua.
We also have dig,
Hua.
which is actually very similar. It's hua.
What is it?
Hua.
Okay, and then double.
Yeah.
Hua. Hua. Yeah. So we could actually have 2 potential options depending on how we want to do this. Okay. So that's like, I wasn't trying to get like all more technically and whatnot from that. I just wanted to actually like put something out there. We can brainstorm a verb, a new verb for the language, that if we don't use it for this construction, we still just have a new verb for the language. And so like, it's not like it's going to go to waste. And so what do you think is a good verb to mark a continuative?
Oh, I don't know.
For dogs.
Chew. That's a cool spelling. Yeah, scratch. Yeah.
The bottom one is an intransitive, like the run. The top 3 are transitive.
Yeah.
Which one do you like best out of those for this construction?
So it's alveolar, right? And it's ideographic. It's not ideographic, is it? I mean, couldn't be.
How do you say the second word starting with an A?
Alveolar?
You say it that way.
Yeah.
Not just alveolar?
But what happens to the O?
Whoomp, like amoeba.
But amoeba is spelled the different way.
Yeah, but you know, just whoomp. Whatever order. Like, for me, it's definitely 3 syllables. Alveolar.
That always seemed a bit informal to me. Alveol. What the heck is that? That's got to be alveolar. It's got to be wrong. And not only that,
it's British because it's like loud.
And not only that, the vowels are wrong, so it's technically alveolar. Alveolar. Oh wait.
Alveolar.
Oh gosh, that's awful.
Alveolar.
That doesn't sound like English. That sounds like French.
They agree with me. Alveolar. Maybe a schwa in there if you do it that way.
Okay, but that one's always wrong.
Not for me. I know, right, Silvertail? Oof. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is German. Because I accidentally put it in capitalized. It's German.
So it's not English.
No. Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, but they agree with me.
Alveola.
And you definitely don't say it that way. So
Yes, I
let's
do.
do with no R at the end. Do the general American
Alveolar.
or alveolar.
That's weird. Alveola makes a lot of sense.
Do not do alveolar. I've never, if you, I have apparently been ignoring the fact that you say it that way for 10 years now.
Alveolar sounds so lazy. It's like pronouncing the word sentence, sentence, which I've heard.
Oh, look, you just joined me.
Oh my gosh. And Wiktionary also suggests that it is indeed ideography as opposed to ideography.
I would say ideography.
Why?
Same reason I say logography. That's fine. You know? Okay.
Also, props to Ragdoll. I'm pinning that, noting that indeed it was not English.
And thank you, Carl. I know for a fact David has said alveolar.
So you see what Danielle Dandelion has written there?
Thank you, Silvertail.
Do you
Thank
see?
you.
Do you see?
Yeah.
And you notice that that's not how we actually spell alveolar.
Do you want me to write up a whole host of English words? Look, I just used one right here. Look how we spell it. We sure do say genau. But there it is. We spell things in weird ways with extra letters that aren't needed. All right, moving on.
Oh, are we?
I think that this top one is a good suggestion. Like I was thinking specifically not even necessarily chew to eat food, but you know how dogs will like kind of chew as a way to like scratch?
Yeah. Yes, I do. They chew on themselves like varmints.
But I think that should be an old word that has disappeared because as they get anthropomorphic, they're going to do less of that.
Yes.
And it's just going to be this old thing that it's like they don't. So they're going to have a separate word meaning to chew, meaning like I'm eating something.
Agreed.
Okay. And so I like that as an old word that just became like this used to happen a lot. So now we need forms. No, we don't need forms because this doesn't even have to be a verb. It could be something that was just totally lost over time if it is not grammaticalized. I think though it would make sense that the wamea would be in this kind of state if this is our verb. So it's going to take the syntax of this verb, which is going to go here. We haven't created it yet because we don't need to create it unless this option wins. But we have our 3 options for the poll. What do you think, David?
Yeah, it's fine. That works.
You seem very discontented.
I'm being buffeted on all sides. And the only way I'm ever going to get my jovial mood back is by hearing how you used to pronounce chicanery.
So I want to share with everyone something Meridian actually said yesterday that I don't know if you caught it. Because David had given her a rather large bowl of our peanut mix.
Oh, that's right.
And I only say the rather large bowl, like it was fine, but it was like, that's a lot of snack mix for a small person in one sitting. But David was very generous in this portion.
Mm-hmm.
This, by the way, is the same snack mix that went into the cookies we discussed last week, and which Bubba reminded me to post the recipe. So thank you, Bubba, who's not here right now, but still thanking Bubba.
And she did.
I did, yeah. But like I forgot until yesterday because that was my first reminder. So anyway, same snack mix, big bowl. Meridian ate the bits that she wanted out of it, and then was like, I'm done with this, which meant I had a little snack after that. But anyway, as we were talking about, oh my gosh, can't believe you left this much here. Meridian was like, I may have more later, but only if my stomach becomes full.
Ooh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, because she was talking about how full she was. So she's like, I'm not saying I won't eat more later. But yeah, her stomach needed to become full first.
Wow.
And I liked it. So full. Two L's. MVP is doing great.
Oh, yeah.
Little MVP who is swimming up a storm these days.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And also Silvertail had noted that apparently you made a face that needs to become an emoji. So, as he often does. I love the faces this one pulls. Okay. Now, what are you looking up now?
I'm just looking at moods.
And David specifically means like verbal moods, not like moods.
I've been learning how to be human, and I hear that you have moods, so I've been trying to employ some. How has it been going?
It's going well until you disagree with pronunciation.
Mm.
Then your mood gets a little swingy.
Well, that's type of, disagreeing with, pronunciation,
Nice-
that type of
nice, Jake.
chicanery I don't engage in.
Indeed.
I'm giving you every opportunity to come clean. I literally can't even guess how chicanery you thought it was. Because I was like, well, how did you pronounce it? Chicanery, with a ch instead of a sh. And she's like, no, something very different from that.
I just said no. That's all I said. You're filling in the rest. And so, cool. So we've got ideas. So we know what we're going to do the poll on is the continuative stative. So we may or may not have that in the language. Did we want to talk future right now? Or did you
No.
want to? Okay, no.
No.
No. Hypothetical could be built if we wanted a verb to build that off. Dogs do a lot of dreaming.
They do?
Yeah, that's why they like twitch and when they sleep so much because they're dreaming
Oh.
about chasing things.
Oh. Did you pronounce it chicanery?
What's up?
Chicanery.
Oh, it was, but no ch. It was chicanery.
Whoa!
So yeah, Carl is right.
Oh, that is fancy. That is really fancy.
I mean, to the point where like when you said it, I thought you were wrong. Like I was like, what?
Oh, wow. I was way off base. I was thinking more Missouri, not more, Parisien. This is chicanerie, That's more appropriate to its source of origin. I thought it was going to be something like, chicanery or something like that.
And with that, what David meant to say was no disrespect to Missouri and the wonderful community who helped raise you there. But gonna call us out, are you?
Yeah. Well, wow, so fancy. My.
That's how I thought it was pronounced.
I just feel like I need to be wearing a suit if I'm next to you and your chicanery.
Oh, Danielle pronounces it that way.
Mm.
I'm not alone. Woo! But like seriously, I looked it up in multiple dictionaries when David said it because I was like, no, there's got to be an alternate pronunciation. Anyway.
I mean, that is how it would be pronounced in French, chicanerie. Chicanerie.
So I guess I'm just more French than you.
Oui.
Oui.
Not quite, but.
How would you know? I'm more French.
Ooh.
And in saying that, I don't think I have an ounce of, like, honest to goodness French blood in my system. I don't know though. I haven't done the 23andMe. I don't know what's in my system.
So I'm thinking about this. So to Twitch, what would the object of that be? So like it's like, you know, it's causing. It's
It
like
would have to be a locative.
So you're twitching on something.
Yeah, like it's.
I like it.
It's kind of like your mind is.
Yeah.
Blanking on something. What is the verb we use in English?
Spinning?
Spinning. There we go. On something.
I really like this. I really like this. And okay, I'm actually
we're gonna make this happen.
Yeah.
We need a verb.
Yeah, we do.
Actually had some verbs that I don't think we used, and I should double check some of these forms. I really hope we're not double using forms. I need to remember to check more consistently if we've already used them. Including at some point we have to make this a thing. We have to make that a thing. It doesn't need to be this, but like it needs to be a thing.
It could be. I mean, it's rather pontificatory.
Pontificatory. Oof. That's a good word.
Yeah. Sorry. It's just a little ring.
Oh, it was fine. I was doing this because I didn't know if you were going to push me, and I was getting ready. Because sometimes when you shift, you push me over. So I was just getting ready.
It behaves similarly to Raj.
Just twitching, feel like.
Ponder the example below. The dog may bark.
Okay, this is my first. Okay.
I'm not even going to pronounce that aloud. I'm just going to pin it. Hey, Jesse, can you read the pinned message there? Go ahead.
Like.
Click on it.
Horse divorce. Oops. Oops. God, my chair is like hitting on that.
Oh, are you trying to do something that's like quoth?
No, it wasn't. I was just like, something like sounds very twitchy to me. And so I was just playing around with like different structures, and like a stop feels good for the end of it.
You don't want to use the quoth?
Oh, we can. Is it too pontificatory?
It's not too pontificatory. It's the right amount of pontificatory if you enjoy it.
Oh my God. Of course I enjoy it.
All right. There we go.
And that's going to be...
Yeah, nice and simple.
Okay.
Woof. 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 Woof, Brahma wolf. The dog may bark.
Okay, coming back down to where David is typing.
When used in conjunction with the completive whole, the meaning changes to one of two, either deontic or epistemic, as illustrated below.
that was the form, right? Because this needed to be replaced. Just need to double check that protoform. Okay.
Okay, the meaning changes to one of two. Either the alphabet illustrated below. The dog is barking. So we need. Is it just? Where's that old dog barking?
What? Where?
Cool. Did we ever? Oh, we never did it. Just.
With bark. Oh, right here, the dog barked.
Wolf, bram, vol.
Because it's an intransitive, so it has a different completive.
Yeah, so it does. But then this one will still be goal. And then rof. What happens to r after wa? Nothing? I think it's nothing.
One moment.
Yeah, nothing happens.
Oops. Because now it's going to be the dog twitches, catching the barking.
So you see what I did there?
The arcading.
I don't know why that showed up that way. Look at mine.
Whoa.
So like
this is what I showed, and David shows barking.
Yeah, on my screen it just says barking, and on hers.
I was like, yeah, I see what you've done there, baby. You've archaicized it.
I wish I.
Like David's screen really does.
I don't know if you can see it, but it just says barking.
Goodness. I'm going to change it though, because
Yeah.
obviously it's wrong somewhere. Okay. These are exactly
Yeah, they're exactly the same.
Okay.
And that should also be the dog barked. Sorry. Because it's completive. The dog barked, and the dog considered barking. The dog may have barked. Okay. And now.
Pages just had a meltdown.
Yeah.
My word.
I would like to see if it is possible to combine this with the habitual. It's a dangerous maneuver, but I figure...
The dog might have used to bark?
No.
Used to may have barked? Because if it's hypothetical, then it's not habitual.
The dog may bark regularly.
Regularly. So the dog maybe is a habitual barker. I see. So really it's that the goal has to be the matrix, the syntactic matrix verb.
Yeah.
Because it's like the dog twitches in regularly barking.
Yeah.
And at that point it has to be epistemic?
Behind the habitual and hypothetical. Hypothetically. It's a combination. Oh. Such an abomination is presented below. Okay.
So, Quoth Brahm. Raj.
Hold on. The dog is barking, and then now let's get the dog barked regularly.
It's going to be Raj Brahm. Oh. However, Hof.
Oh,
follows O.
golf?
I'm going to double check.
No, I've already got it.
Oh, you do? Okay, well, then I don't need to check.
Where did I just... Yeah. Dog barks regularly. Okay, now let's go ahead and get the dog may bark. And so now the dog may bark regularly. Just throw on epistemic there. Wolfram, O, and then see what happens when R is fortified. I don't remember.
After O,
Yeah.
it's just R.
Oh. All right. Fair enough. Oh, okay. Oraj.
Okay. The dog twitches. In walking
And walking.
and barking. Because raj itself doesn't take an object. It takes the
Right.
locative.
Right.
Golf is meant to take the locative because it's like it twitches in doing this. So it's just like oraj golf. Golf ram oraj golf.
All right. There we are.
Wow, so
I love it.
this is some intense stuff. Cool.
All right.
Well, thank you for being here, Jinx.
Mm.
And I don't know if that has anything to do with being jinxed, but thank you for being here. And we look forward to seeing you next Thursday. And
Stay all ye, grandma.
stay grammar, all that good stuff. And hope you have a wonderful week in between now and then.
All right. See ya. Okay.